In this video, I land in a city that greets me in silence with a nearly empty airport. I set out on a mission to find food, which turns into a surprisingly fruitless hunt for a grocery store. Then it's onto the streets, those beautiful cobblestone streets that make you feel like you've slipped into another century. I stumble across the most nondescript McDonald's I've ever seen and chase down a cold Diet Mountain Dew. I get close, but no cigar. Buckle up and strap in because we're fighting vampires and traveling through the history of beautiful Oldtown, Montreal.
Well, after a quick hour and a half, 45-minute flight, welcome to Montreal, here in the Quebec, Canada, where we'll be spending the next few days just kind of hanging out. We decided to take a last-minute trip up to Quebec and check out the city. Montreal, of course, is in the French-speaking part of Canada. Everything's in French and in English, and pretty much all the people that live here speak French as a first language, I think. Now, of course, America-Canada relations are at the moment a little tense. Hopefully that's just politically and we won't have any trouble going through immigration. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think they're going to tariff us. I hope not.
They're nice.
Yeah, I'm sure. They're Canadian. Canadians are known for being polite, so they'll be polite. They might tariff us politely. Look, there's no visitors. Why is nobody coming to Canada? It's just everybody coming home. We're in Canada yet again. Welcome back to Canada. This is what it's like in Canada. Canada, Canada. But really, it's like Montreal, technically. I mean, technically it's Canada, but is it really Canada? Really? The last time I was in Montreal, it was before 9/11, so that tells you something right there, how long ago it was. The internet was barely a thing, though I did have a job related to the internet. I was very lucky, but Twitter didn't exist, YouTube didn't exist, Facebook didn't even exist. Basically nothing, like probably the only thing that existed back then was Washington Post and Google. Those are pretty much the only two websites I used back then that I remember. We have made it. We are officially out of Canada we're officially out of immigration and officially in Canada. That's what I meant to say. All right, so we're in the Uber on the way to the Airbnb. It's very French already, very French, but that's great. I studied French a long time ago for a number of years, so. Thank you. Merci. Bye-bye. All right. Oh, it's nice. We're in the penthouse. How fancy. Okay. It's like a hotel. Okay. Nice and smooth. Not a lot of light, but that's all right. I can always find something to complain about. View of the front of the building. Very nice. Looks like a nice, decent little apartment. This building was renovated to be hotels for Airbnb for travelers, but yeah. Even though it was a short trip, it's really not that hard of a trip at all. Really just want to kind of just go to the grocery store. There should be a grocery store right over here in the corner. This is very, very old town Montreal. I know nothing about Montreal, but I'll read up on the wiki page so that when I do a walk and talk video, I can speak like I'm educated and I've lived in Montreal my entire life. It smells good though. I smell food everywhere. You see the sign arrête. That's how you pronounce it. It's pronounced arrête. And in French, arrête means do not enter. That's what that sign means. Do not enter. I'll be translating French the entire trip. My French is very good. It's like a 7-Eleven. Do you want to get something here, or do you want me to ask where there's an actual grocery store?
We
Do you
can go to actual grocery store.
Yeah. That was not a grocery store. That was a convenience store. We need to find a grocery store because we like to cook. We both like to cook. We don't cook for each other, but we like to cook. This is very French.
Yeah.
But Montreal is kind of known for being like a European city in North America. That's kind of the reputation it has. And I get it. It makes absolute sense.
It's clean more than Paris.
Yeah, no, this is definitely, that's the thing. This is nicer than Paris, actually. Paris, I don't know if you've been to Paris lately. Paris is a dump. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I'm saying what you're thinking. Paris is a dump. I do not like Paris. I'm sure there's other parts of France that are very nice. I've never been to other parts of France. I'd like to, but Paris itself, nah, complete dump. Yeah, my first impressions, I mean, I do think it's funny that the convenience store we went into is called Couche-Tard, but it looks like it's spelled Couche-Tard, which kind of reminds me of douche-tard. Couche-Tard, douche-tard. I mean, come on. I just remembered marijuana is legal here all throughout Canada. I forgot about, maybe, actually, I don't know if maybe there's provincial laws. I'm not sure. I think it's legal throughout all of Canada. I remember when I was in St. John's, Newfoundland, that it was everywhere. And you could smell it everywhere. This so far is a lot nicer than St. John's. I think that's the grocery store up there. It looks like a store. Looks like a grocery store too. All right, this is looking either like a Staples, which is a office supply store in the United States, or possibly a grocery store. I'm hoping it looks like the proper size that you would expect of a grocery store or of a Staples. Bureau? Is it the Bureau of Energy? Is that where they sell groceries? What is this place? Oh, wait. Yes! No. Mother effer, it is a Staples. It is a Staples. It literally was a Staples store. Oh wait, but this maybe is a strip mall, hopefully? No, it's literally just a Staples. I'm sure people in Montreal buy groceries. All right, time to pull out the phone. I don't like doing that, but I'm gonna do it. I'll be back in a minute. All right, well, according to the phone, we passed what should have been a grocery store. If this doesn't work out, we're just gonna go to that convenience store, get some things, and then just call it a day and just regroup and try again tomorrow. According to the phone, it's right here. Oh no, that literally is it. That's just beer and wine. Okay, let's go inside and look. I just want eggs and noodles. Oh, I got noodles. They don't have eggs? Oh, they do have eggs. You just want to get some eggs and some bulldog?
Do they have bacon?
I think this is it. It's mayonnaise time. Mayonnaise and ketchup time. Where could we find an actual grocery store?
What?
An actual grocery store.
Oh. Is it on IGI?
IGI is what they're called?
Not too far.
Okay.
Just between 5-10 minutes walk. Not
Okay. From here, yeah. What's it called?
IGI.
IGI. All right, I'll look it up. Looking for a grocery store. This was the closest we found.
Yeah.
You have enough to get us through the night, so that's good. All right, thank you.
Welcome. Have a good day.
Too. Well, we got stuff we can eat now. There's no meat though.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hungry in the morning.
I'll make some bulldog. I might have bulldog for dinner, and I might have bulldog for breakfast. This might be a bulldog trip, a bulldog city.
But egg here is cheaper.
Everything the taxi ride seemed cheap, and the groceries, it was 43 Canadian dollars. 43 Canadian dollars to US dollars. $29. So the exchange rate is actually really good right now. The dollar, I don't know if it's that the dollar is strong, the Canadian dollar is weak. Maybe a little column A, a little column B.
No,
when I went to Newfoundland in 2023, the exchange rate, it was good, but it wasn't as good as it is now. It is really good. Yeah, like do you want to? You want to?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's get something and have that for dinner, and then we'll have stuff for breakfast, and we'll be good. Oh, I don't think it's takeout. Actually, can we order to go?
Oh yeah, sure, definitely.
Yep. Okay. First impressions of Montreal. It's very French. It's clean. It's cheap. And it's nice. I like it. What's there not to like? Now I just need to wait for something to go horribly wrong. Like we're gonna get robbed, kidnapped. Like how weird would it be to get kidnapped in Montreal, Canada, and held for ransom? That would be my luck. All right, well, we got our ramen and we're headed home. Thank goodness. No, it actually didn't take that long. Not a lot to talk about today. I'll do some walking around and talking tomorrow, do a little exploring while my wife is out in a different city, and I'll be stuck here in boring old Montreal. All right, I'll check back with you tomorrow. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2025, and I am here in the wonderful city of Montreal. Montreal, of course, is home to 1.7 million people here in the city proper and over 4 million people in the metro area as a whole. That makes it the second largest city in Canada, only to Toronto, and also the largest French-speaking city on the continent of North America. Montreal often ranks as one of the largest French-speaking cities in the world. However, nearly 20% of the population have a first language that is something other than English and French, truly making Montreal like a global melting pot of cultures. It's wonderful here. It's amazing. Now look, I know what you're saying. Oh, here's Addy on another trip where he didn't research the place at all. He knows nothing about the place where he's going. You're absolutely wrong. I did at least a half hour of research before I came out to do this video. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Montreal was first settled by Europeans in 1642 when French settler Paul Le Chamond de Maisonneuve, and that's actually how you pronounce his name. You can look that up. Fact check me on that. He came here and settled a missionary outpost here. When Paul de Chamond de Maisonneuve came here, it was originally called Ville Marie, which of course translates to English as Village of Mary, which also, of course, was named after the Virgin Mary. However, before Paul de Chamond de Maisonneuve arrived, the St. Lawrence Iroquois had been in this area for thousands of years. And even before Paul de Chamond de Maisonneuve made his first appearance here, Europeans had been here as early as 1535, when Jacques Gautier, a French explorer you may have heard of, came here and visited a village, which I guess was a Native American village that was up near the village of Hochelaga, which is near what is today known as Mount Royal. Now, Mount Royal is the highest point in the city, which I just realized Mount Royal, Montreal, that is where Montreal gets its name, from Mount Royal, the highest point in the city. Remnants of the original name can be seen all throughout the city. For example, here, Fort de Ville Marie, which of course, if you don't speak French, means Village of Mary of the Fort. I told you, my French, it's impeccable, impeccable. By 1760, Montreal had become a hub for fur trading. And if you know anything about 16th and 17th century explorers, they loved their furs. Montreal was at the heart of the fur trade. If you wanted furs, you came to Montreal. Then the 7-Year Wars happened. The British came in and took over, and they never let control go back to the French. And it's been under British rule, as has Canada ever since. Sorry, Canada, but it's kind of the truth. This, of course, brought in a whole new era for Montreal, bringing in an industrial revolution in the 19th century, and also allowed the city to be incorporated in 1832. By then, Montreal was by far the largest city in Canada, being a hub of industry, banking, and of course, the fur trade. Montreal would eventually lose its place as the largest city in Canada in terms of population in the 20th century, where Toronto, God damn you, Toronto, took that. However, it still remains the second largest city in Canada. Pretty cool. I didn't know that before I came here. Honestly, I didn't know that. I probably would have said Vancouver. I am here in Oldtown, Montreal, which of course is noted for its cobblestone streets and its large stone buildings. As a matter of fact, this became such a center point of history that in 1964, the entire historic district of Montreal became a protected area. See? That's what I'm saying. Now here in Oldtown, Montreal, you'll find such things as the Notre Dame Basilica. Notre Dame Basilica, I practiced that. Notre Dame Basilica, which is an old Gothic church from the 1820s.
The Notre Dame Basilica was constructed between 1824 and 1829, after the city's Catholic congregation outgrew its original church. Since then, it has stood tall and proud, even through multiple renovations, including the one currently underway. About a year ago, on March 23, 2024, the state funeral for Canada's 18th Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney, was held here at the Basilica.
Now, I mentioned to you Paul de Champé de Maisonneuve, whatever the hell his name was. This is a statue right here. Maisonneuve, 1642. I think this deserves a selfie. Oldtown, Montreal is home not to just this kind of awesome Gothic church, but also to Place des Hommes, which is a public square, basically, which has been at the center of Montreal's heart since its existence. And then there is Saint Jacques Street, which I didn't realize was known as Canada's Wall Street. That's pretty cool. Canada with their own Wall Street. That's so cute. Also, down by the water is Old Port, which is where the ships used to come to trade all those furs back long ago when North Americans could not get enough of their moccasins and raccoons and moose sweaters or something. Well, last night, when the wife and I arrived, we went looking for a grocery store. Couldn't really find a grocery store. Instead, we found a convenience store that sold mostly beer and wine. However, because of the exchange rate, it's really cheap to just eat out here. So we might end up doing a lot of just eating out. Like, what the heck? It's cheap. You can definitely feel the weather changing. The weather is warming up. It's a little chilly. It's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll go down here towards the water. Otherwise, it's a nice day. I actually layered up a little too much and I had to take one of my layers off because I was like, oof, I'm gonna get warm doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna be a warm boy. And you know, if you know me, you know you don't want me being a warm boy. What? Aujourd'hui spécial. That means limited time sale. Aujourd'hui, limited time. Spécial means sale. Limited time sale. See, 2 for 1 kiwi bubble tea. The 4 actually means because. So 2 because of 1. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Maybe they probably need to work on their French a little bit. All right, well, this looks like a very interesting little street down here with lots of shops. It, oddly enough, reminds me of La Paz, like the Witches Market in La Paz, Bolivia. Go figure. So you can see here, Art de Iroquois. Now I'm sure this is just parchment board or some type of, modern mass-produced ripoff. Or maybe it's the authentic work. Actually, I should not be judgmental like that. Maybe this is actual, like a person of the Iroquois. This is their shop. What do I know? I shouldn't. You know what? Go ahead, cancel me. I probably deserve it. Just go ahead and cancel me. I think a lot of people speak a combination of French and English. When we were on the plane up here, the two staff, the two attendants that were helping in the, I'm trying to think of the politically correct word to say stewardess, okay? But when they were speaking to one another, they were sitting right behind us, and I would hear them switching. They would be speaking English. They would say 2 or 3 sentences in English, and then they would switch to French, and then back to English. I hear that a lot on the streets. People, it's like, I think maybe what's happening is a lot of Quebecois can't make up their mind whether they want to be part of Canada or their own independent nation. The cobblestone streets are awesome. I love them. I think one of the problems that they present, though, is it doesn't exactly allow you to update. So maybe newer road technology is probably easier to take care of, especially in a place where you have lots of freezes and thaws within one season. So I see lots of work being done all over the place to kind of maintain the streets. And I wonder, would that be such a problem if it wasn't all cobblestone? Maybe, maybe not. Again, what do I know? Here's another French lesson here. This says, nous sommes ouverts. And that's how the French pronounce it. Nous sommes ouverts. And that means you heard right. We are open. You see, this is what I was talking about, where they do the mixture of saying one thing in French and then the next thing in English. You heard right. We are open. Don't bother looking it up. I just told you what it meant. Don't, seriously, don't bother. Just don't bother. The statue behind me is of Jean Vauquelin, who fought in the 7 Years' War on the side of the French. He was in a tough battle, apparently, with the British here in Montreal. And the British were so impressed with his bravery and his general fight that they actually, after capturing and burning down his boat, let him go so that he could return to France. Now, come on. That's impressive. Like, imagine that. Imagine you fight in a war with a country, and then you go to this battle, you lose the battle, but the guys are like, dude, you've got such big balls, we're gonna let you go. That's big balls. 1728 to 1772, so he was 44 years old, died a young man. Louisville, Quebec. I'm not sure what that means, but I mean, I imagine that's the name of towns or something. Maybe he was born there. I don't know. I didn't read the Wikipedia that thoroughly. But you know what this means? It's a statue. That means we got to get a selfie. There's downtown, the modern part of Montreal. I feel like this highway here, or this big road, if we cross that, we'll actually be leaving old Montreal. And well, I don't think we want to end up on the wrong side of Montreal. No sirree. I do remember that it was that part of the city where I stayed here in 2000 when I came here. 2000 or 2001, I can't remember which. I think it was 2000, maybe 2001, who knows, I don't know. Regardless, it was down there, that's where I stayed. It was 2000, now that I think about it, it was 2000. Unfortunately, most of my life, I can date big events in my life by a few things. The birth of my daughter, my cancer, and various girlfriends. That's how I can place in time and on a calendar where things in my life actually happen. I guess everybody has to have a method. Walking around the streets, you smell a lot of weed. It's not nearly as bad as St. John's. And actually, I was talking about that also with my mother last night. She asked me how Montreal so far compares to St. John's. Now, mind you, last night, I hadn't really walked around. We walked to a convenience store that sold liquor and bought eggs. I mean, you know, you know you're down on your luck if you're going to a liquor store to buy eggs. But so far, compared to St. John's, what I've seen today, leaps and bounds better. I haven't been asked for money once. I've only smelled marijuana like twice, as opposed to twice every 15 minutes in St. John's. And everybody's speaking French, which automatically just makes it nicer and classier. I don't know how that works, but it does. Try it. Try it yourself. Try speaking French. I've taught you a little bit on this video, so thank me later. Actually, if you want to thank me, you can thank me by clicking the like button and the subscribe button, and what the heck, click the notification button. It helps me, it helps the channel, as I like to say, it helps you be entertained by me. And that right there is worth the effort. Come on, look at this video so far. It's awesome. In Montreal, like a lot of European cities, even though this is not in Europe, I think this is probably as close to Europe as you're going to get without actually being in Europe. Which kind of just made me think of something. It's almost like Montreal and Cape Town are in the same class, in the sense, or the same grouping, in the sense that both cities, neither city is in Europe, but both cities are super European. That was so profound, I forgot what I was originally saying. Man, I should see a doctor. I don't even know what this is, but that's a cool looking building. It's the Cour d'appel de Quebec. Is it the appeals court of Quebec? You're not better than me. Look at this. This is the most unassuming McDonald's I've ever seen. There is surprisingly not a lot of traffic on the street, and I don't know why. In this part of town, you would think there would be a lot, but there's not. Okay, this is going to be a full-fledged McDonald's review. Let's go for it. Okay, but I did eat, so we're not going to get a full meal. We're going to go with English, because that's how we do it here. Looks like your standard McDonald's menu. All right. I literally just want a double cheeseburger. Are small fries no longer a thing? I feel like that's the case. I feel like small fries are no longer a thing. Customize. I want to customize my burger because I want absolutely no pickle. And I want as many onions as... Why can't I do more? Why can't I do more? $9.89. Commandez ici. Commandez ici. That means food station. That's very weird, but commandez derives from the Spanish word comer, for to eat. And ici derives from the French word here, which means station. Trying McDonald's in Montreal. This was not on the plan for today. I wasn't thinking I would do this until Sunday, but you know, when McDonald's calls, you answer the phone.
もしもし、ドナルドです。
And you know the question I like to ask with the fries. If these were American, or if I was blindfolded, would I be able to tell if these were American fries or not? Let's try it. They're Canadian fries, right? So they might as well be American fries. Maybe not. I honestly can't answer that question. They're very salty, which is very reminiscent of America. And get this, look at this. The bread is even greasy, like an American burger. Crazy. I don't know. This is very, very difficult. This might be the most difficult. This might be the most difficult I've seen. Oh my God, did I get water with gas? Did I? Thank God I did not. Oh my God. If I had to worry about that here in Canada, I would lose my mind. Let's try the burger. Now, let's give it a shot. So with the burger, even though the top bun has that gleam that I talk about, that it's kind of unique to America, the burger here does have it. However, the burger itself is not nearly as greasy as you would get from an American burger. I think all in all, this meal, well, the fries, I'm going to give the fries a 4 out of 5 fries. Pretty good. You know what? Let's change that. 4.5. 4.5 out of 5 fries. I like them. The burger, though, the burger gets a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 burgers for the burger. It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. All right, I'm going to finish my food. I'll check back in when I'm done. Au revoir. That means thanks for coming. It's what a lot of stores will put in the door when they want to thank you for your business as you're leaving. Au revoir. It's basically like, thanks for coming, thanks for patronizing our store, thanks for helping us stay in business. It's all kind of the same meaning. There is no direct translation. It's a fun fact. So we're gonna start making our way back home. I think I know where I'm at. The basilica's up here, which is good. And then the apartment is just a couple blocks past the basilica. Generally, when I go to new cities, I like to stay as close to Gothic churches as possible because you never know when you're going to need a vampire. A lot of construction going on here in Montreal. This must have been what it was like in 1642 when Paul de Champy de Maisonneuve came and started creating the city of Montreal with his bare hands. He chopped down the trees and built the first houses himself. He painted them with his own blood. That's why he's a legend. I'll be honest, guys. I'll be completely honest with you. And you might not have known this, but I didn't need that McDonald's. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Addie, you're wasting away. Now, can we actually go in, or do you have to pay to go in? Oh, you gotta pay. It's like $16. Okay, let's just peek in here. Let's peek in here. Entrée. Entrée means main course of dinner, so I guess there's a restaurant down there.
Look at this here.
They're busy. Don't these people have jobs? Shouldn't these people be working? Or maybe they all have YouTube channels. Maybe they all have moderately sized YouTube channels that are slowly growing. This is Place des Hommes. I mentioned Place des Hommes in the research I did 20 minutes before I left the apartment. Place des Hommes. So again, these old stone buildings, these are pretty much a staple of old Montreal. Yeah. My wife, who should be back from Quebec in about an hour or two, was asking me, or telling me actually, she was more or less telling me over there. She was like, well, you know, Saturday we can walk around and you can do your video. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I can do that. Of course, I know she's going to want to walk around this area, but the things we do for love. Oh boy. Somewhere up here, there should be a douche-tard restaurant. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. I completely misspoke. I'm sorry. It's a douche-tard convenience store is what it is. Okay, I see it. I found it. The douche-tard convenience store is up there. We're gonna go there. We're gonna get something chocolate because I deserve it. That's why. And then we're gonna go home and we're gonna wait for my beautiful wife. And then that's gonna be it for today in terms of recording. So fun fact, I was looking for a grocery store here in Montreal, but they're pretty much impossible to find because they were outlawed in 1912. People, to get their groceries, have to go out. They have to travel an hour outside of the city in order, I can't keep up that lie. I'm totally making that up. But I promise you, that is the only thing I made up today. Everything else I said about Montreal, 100% fact. Now, again, this is pretty much just like a French version of America, so they aren't gonna have anything interesting, I don't think. But we'll see. Oh my God. Oh, I almost got really excited. So this, when I was in Newfoundland, this was the Diet Mountain Dew I had. 0 sugar. Man, this is so misleading. Look at this. This even looks like the same color of the bottles I have. But this definitely, yeah, that has a ton of sugar. So I think once I run out of my Diet Mountain Dews, I'll probably just go to Pepsi Black, which they don't have. I don't want to think about it because it's just going to be a dark time. It's going to be a dark few days before I get home. I was going to get something sweet and eat away my sorrows. I know I want something sweet. I just don't know what I want. This is all just normal stuff. All right, well, What do I expect from a douche-tard restaurant? I'll just get a Kit Kat. Make sure I get a big one. That's my first time buying something from a douche-tard. Pretty average convenience store experience, if you ask me. I don't know why it has such a horrible name. Why would you name your store after that? I mean, that's just insulting. See, this right here, this little block of land, this little chunk right here, this is what St. John's was like. This reminds me of St. John's. I'm practically back in Newfoundland, St. John's right now. And then you come, you walk out of here, and then voila, you're back in Montreal, or as I like to call it, Montreal. Montreal. Well, like I said, it is only Friday, and I still have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to spend exploring this city. I hope to maybe get on the subway and go to downtown Montreal. We'll go ahead and we'll do it, make sure we do it during the day so that, because we don't know what kind of shenanigans go on in downtown Montreal. Oh boy, no, that could be dangerous. Oh, you're gonna end up getting assaulted with some poutine or maybe maimed by a moose. Don't want that to happen. It's been fun, but I'm going back into my apartment here at the Sonder, this old stone building. My apartment's right up there at the top. Be sure to click and subscribe. I'll check back in later. Bye-bye.